Today we are making a small batch white Texas sheet cake. Now, several weeks ago I shared the traditional chocolate Texas sheet cake here and you guys loved it, and over on Facebook it went crazy. Today's white Texas sheet cake though is the first cousin to the chocolate Texas sheet cake. Now we know traditionally Texas sheet cake is made on a big huge jelly roll pan. That's a lot of cake. But today's small batch version, we're going to use this 9x6 baking sheet. I'll link to it down below. It's the perfect amount of cake for 2 to 4 people. Today, I'm going to show you how to make small batch recipes with big taste. Whether you're cooking just for yourself or for the 2 of you, I've got you covered. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Leanne from YourHomeBasedMom.com, and today's recipe for small batch white Texas sheet cake may surprise you. It looks like it's a vanilla flavored cake, but it's not. We are using almond extract in this cake and it is delicious. Every time I serve this cake, I get asked for the recipe. Now, if you're not an almond fan, go ahead and use vanilla extract, but I promise you the almond is so good. Our first step for making our white Texas sheet cake is I have melted in my saucepan a 1/4 cup of butter into a 1/4 cup of water. And so we've just melted that up, and so it's nice and hot. In our bowl, we are going to take a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm just going to mix that together. And then we are going to pour in our melted butter and water. My pan is hot here, so add that in and just stir to combine. Now, one thing about this cake batter for our Texas sheet cake, it is a really runny cake batter. So just know that that's what it's supposed to be. And then our last 2 ingredients, we're going to use 1 egg yolk. Actually, that's 3 ingredients. We've got our 1 egg yolk, 2½ tablespoons of sour cream, and our almond extract, a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, or if you prefer vanilla, go ahead and add that in. And combine that all together till it is nice and smooth. All right, we're going to take our little mini baking pan here, some non-stick baking spray, give it a nice little spray, and then we are going to just pour our cake batter into our pan. I like to just make sure I scrape everything out, as with these small batch recipes, you want to make sure you get every little bit of ingredient out, and it is ready to go into our oven. And we're going to put it into a 375-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 minutes. Right, so for our frosting, we're going to use a little saucepan again, and I have in here a 1/4 cup of butter. And I'm going to take a tablespoon. I am using whipping cream, but you could use 1/2 and 1/2 or milk, whatever the heaviest milk you have is. And we are just going to heat this up until our butter melts, and then we'll add in our other ingredients. After our butter is melted into our cream, we are going to take 1 cup of powdered sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, or again, you could use vanilla if you prefer. And then we will add in our melted butter and milk and just stir to combine. So after we've let our cake cool for about 30 minutes, we've got our frosting. We are ready to frost it, and I've got a secret little tip here to share with you in just a minute on how I like to cut a frosted cake so that all the frosting doesn't end up on the knife. Have you ever had that happen to you? Yeah. So I'm going to show you a way how to get a nice clean cut through any kind of frosted cake or frosted brownie. We're just going to spread our almond flavored frosting on the top of our sheet cake, and then you just have to decide how many pieces are you going to slice it in. Are you going to go for 4, 6? Are you ready for that secret little tip? How I like to slice my cakes, my brownies, anything with frosting on it. I use a plastic knife, just one of those throwaway disposable kind. It's like magic. It just works so well. And I am going to slice mine into 6 pieces. So I'm going to slice it right down the middle. And I didn't end up with any frosting building up there. And then I have a little bit on my knife, but we'll just scrape that off. But look, you get a nice clean cut. And then we're gonna cut it this way. And then we are gonna garnish our cake. And I just like to use some sliced toasted almonds. And this gives people who are eating it a little bit of a hint of what flavor the cake is. But I'll usually just take a couple slivers, place it on top, and just adds a little extra pretty touch. And then our sheet cake is ready to serve. Now you're going to find the recipe for this small batch Texas white sheet cake in the description down below. And I'm also going to link it to the full size version. So if you've got to feed more than 4 to 6 people, you can check out that one. Be sure to check out my other small batch dessert recipes here on YouTube. Lots of good ones. And also if you're looking for a chocolate, check out the chocolate Texas sheet cake in small batch too. And we'll see you back in the kitchen next week.